So we're going to talk a little bit today about Unit 1, Lesson 3, which is absolute value of functions and equations. So the first thing we're going to talk about is solving absolute value equations. So this is just how do you solve an absolute value that's in an equation. So our equation is ax plus b absolute value equals c, where c is less than 0. So if we break it apart, what they're saying is ax plus b equals c, and also ax plus b is a negative c, because when we have this absolute value, what we're saying is that it can either be a negative or a positive. So let's go on down. It says solving absolute value equations. So let's go ahead and set this up. Now remember, let's go back up for a second. This c can be positive or negative. So we're going to write this equation as 2x minus 5 equals 9 and 2x minus 5 equals a negative 9. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our equation. All right, so here we go. We've got 2x minus 5, and it's an absolute value, so let's put our absolute values here, minus 5, absolute value, and we've got equals 9, so equals 9. We're also going to do 2x minus 5, again, absolute value, equals a negative 9, because our absolute value can be positive and negative. Let's go ahead and switch colors. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to solve for x. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. Add 5. Go ahead and cross these out. And you've got 2x equals 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay, go ahead and switch colors, and then you're going to go ahead and solve for x. So divide by 2, divide by 2, and you've got x is equal to 7. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and go over to the other side here. Now we're going to minus 5. We're going to add 5 because it's a minus. So go ahead and add 5. So you've got 2x equals, now a negative 9 plus 5 is a negative 4. Okay? So then we're going to go ahead, we're going to switch colors. You're going to go ahead and solve for x. So you're going to divide by 2. You're going to divide by 2. And you've got x is equal to a negative 2. And those are your two answers. Okay? We'll go ahead and try another one. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. We've got solving absolute value equations. We've got 6x minus 3 absolute value equals 15. Now again, you've got to do 6x minus 3 equals 15, and absolute value of 6x minus 3 equals a negative 15. So let's go ahead and set that up. So absolute value, 6x minus 3, absolute value equals 15. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go on to the other side, and we've got 6x absolute value minus 3 equals a negative 15, because we're dealing with absolute values that can be a positive or a negative. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve for x. So we're going to add 3 on both sides. Add 3. Got 6x equals 18. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and solve for x. So we're going to divide by 6, and x equals 3 because 6 times 3 is 18. So x is 3. Okay, we're going to go over to the other side. Again, we're going to solve for x. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. Add 3. And we've got 6x is equal to, so a negative 15 plus 3 is going to be a negative 12. So we're going to go ahead, solve for x. So divide by 6. Divide by 6. Oops. That should be more of a divide. Sorry about that. And we've got x is equal to a negative 2. All right. So that is the basic of how we solve for absolute value equations. Now let's go down. Now we're going to solve for inequalities. Remember, your inequalities deal with your less than or equal to or greater than. So let's get a new pad here. Go. All right. So there's 2 ways to solve an absolute value inequalities. You can say ax plus b, absolute value, is less than c, where c is greater than 0, which means that c is between a negative c and a positive c. The second way that you can do it is you can say ax plus b, absolute value, is less than a negative c, and ax plus b is greater than c. So that's how we did the one up on top. So let's actually try this one here. It's pretty simple. All you're going to do is you're going to say, if this is a positive 11, you're going to do 2x plus 7 is greater than a negative 11. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our pad. So we've got absolute value of 2x plus 7, absolute value, is less than 11. So all we're going to do is if 2x plus 7 is less than 11, then it's going to be greater than a negative 11. Okay, that's all we're going to do. Now what we're going to do, go ahead and switch colors, is we're going to minus 7 from both sides. So minus 7, and minus 7. Okay, so let's rewrite that. A negative 11 minus 7 is less than 2x, absolute value, which is less than 11 minus 7. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to solve on both sides here. So we're going to clean this up a bit. So a negative and a negative means it becomes a positive, and then you add a negative to the other side. So here we've got a negative 18. So a negative 18 is less than 2x, or absolute value of 2x, which is less than 11 minus 7, which is four. Okay, so now we're trying to get 2 by itself, or I'm sorry, we're trying to get x by itself. So let's go ahead and divide by 2. Let's go ahead, divide by 2, and divide by 2. So now, here we've got a negative 9 is less than x, which is, and x is less than 2. So what this technically tells us is that this x right here is any number between a negative 9 and a positive 2. All right, let's do it one more time with a different equation. All right, so another equation is 2x minus 8 is less than or equal to a positive 8. Or I'm sorry, 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 8. So let's go ahead and set that up. Okay, so absolute value of 3x minus 2. Absolute value of 3x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 8. And remember, if I've got an 8 on this side, then I'm going to have a negative 8 on this side. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and solve for x. So let's add 2 to both sides. So go ahead and add 2, and add 2. So our new equation is a negative 8 plus 2 is going to be a negative 6. Now, this is greater than or equal to. So then what we're going to have is 6 is greater than or equal to. We've got 3x on this, or actually I'm sorry, 10, because 8 plus 2 is 10. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x. So let's go ahead and solve for x. So let's divide by 3 on both sides. Divide by 3 and divide by 3. So our new equation is a negative 2, because a negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2, is greater than or equal to x, which is greater than or equal to 10 thirds. Okay? So what this is saying is that x is less than negative 2, but it's greater than 10 thirds. So x is somewhere between a negative 2 and 10 thirds. All right, so now that you know how to solve for inequalities and how to solve for absolute value equations, go ahead and start.